Welcome to my video on Christmas planning. Now, I would have liked to have put this up a lot earlier, but due to illness and appointments and everything, unfortunately, I didn't actually get it done. And I was going to really organise this video and write notes down. As hubby normally says, I'm winging it. So I'm just going to go with the flow and just sort of give some pointers what helps me, how I get organised for Christmas and what works. I mean, if I can sort of give over some pointers or something that will help you to get organised for the busy season, so hopefully you can have a fairly organised and restful Christmas, even with all the buzz that goes around with family and friends and everything else that you have to do. Now, my family call me Queen of Notes. I'm always writing things down, and yes, we have note lists. I tend to try and use notebooks or pads or one particular thing that family members can write down anything they think of that they want, or food wise or anything, so that I can add it to my main lists. I do plan fairly early for Christmas. I have fallen behind, and as I said, I've got no notes. I'm just taking it and just pointing out what works for me. Now, going back to organisation and writing things down, you forget things, or you can be out and you think, now what was it I was supposed to purchase? I haven't got it here because I'm using it. Obviously, your phone. I do have notes, as you probably know, on your phone, and anything that is really urgent or really needs to be gotten, I have got certain lists, and I've got a Christmas list. So usually, I'm saying this, I do not leave my home without my phone, obviously emergencies or whatever. So I've got that list, even if I haven't got a notebook and pen, which I tend to keep in my bag anyway. Especially if you bump into anybody, just jot things down. You can put it on your phone. I am old school. I do prefer to write things down, but I'm just saying there is your phone as well. Now, the things that I tend to use, and there is quite a lot, I tend to get very busy and probably take on more than what is really should be doing, but that's just me. I do sort of throw myself in. I am a Christmas person, and I want to send best wishes to a good friend of mine, my BFF, who has been communicating with me this morning, and the sneaky person has already got her decorations up, and it's not even December. Now, I am envious, but the rule in our home is we cannot put our decorations up until the 1st of December, which happens to be a Sunday, and I'm just rallying the troops to help me hopefully get the Christmas stuff up. Sometimes in the past, I have actually, when I was working, take a day off. As long as they've got everything down from the loft, I would put everything up myself and do it in a day. Dare I say, maybe 6 to 7 trees, not all big ones, 3, 4 foot. 7 foot is our main tree. Dining room is about 5 foot. I am cutting down, but I'm just saying I used to get it done like, and I might be going off a bit off topic as I'm going and I'm thinking things through, but I just want to get it out there. As I said, I tend to be hopefully fairly organised, haven't got any notes, and I'm just, as I said, going with it. Right, back to what I use. As I said, good old planner. This is my planner for 2019. I've shown it a number of times, including planner. I am getting to the process of now of doing my decoration of my planner for the whole of the month of December, because it is getting busy, and this is where I put my appointments down, if I'm planning any YouTube videos, you know, visits, that goes there. That is my first point of call. Anything that's urgent goes on this. The only thing I'm not showing in this segment is our family calendar. That is where family members also jot down, like if they've got meetings, or they've got like a Christmas do, like my son has, and things like that. That is the family calendar. Unfortunately, I don't really want to show that because it has got a lot of private information on, and also visits and everything, so I don't really show that. But that is one of the point calls for family. This is just for me, my good old planner. As I said, this was actually gifted to me from a fellow YouTuber, Happy Me on a Budget, and she's a lovely lady. I hope you will check her out. But as I said, planner, she has set me off now on planners, and I've definitely got to get one for next year. So that is first point of call. I do look at this the night before and on the morning, and to make sure that nothing gets missed. So that's something else. Along with that, and I know what you're going to think, there's a lot of things I use. This is so it all comes together, so that I've got all the information I need from all family members, phone calls, messages. I'm adamant that family members make a note. If I'm not available and another family member rings, you know, and I'm passing on messages, and I don't know if this has happened to you. I've been in the bath, the phone's rang. I'm thinking, oh, when I'm in the bath, the phone's rang. Need to find out who phoned in case it's something important. And 2 days later, I get a phone call from a family member and says, oh, you didn't ring me back. Duh. And then the other family member that's in the household would tell me, oh, by the way, yeah, you've got to ring so-and-so back. I don't know if this has happened to you. Write things down. Okay, I'm trying to stop the little bits of paper in the notes. That's why we've got pads. As I say, I'm sorry if I'm waffling, but I just want to get this through to you. This is a pad. I think this came from Hobbycraft, I think, and it just says hello. This is, I've got one in my bedroom. I tend to keep one in my kitchen. And this is just so they have to be in the same sort of places around the home so they don't go missing. And that's jotting things down. As I said, I do have a main line, phone line. So I do have a phone in our bedroom aside the lounge. So that's why I like to keep a, you know, a pad up in our main bedroom as well, in case I'm upstairs and the main line goes, then I can jot anything down. A number of times I've had the surgery phone me. Normally they contact me on my mobile phone, but just in case it's the, you know, the main line, I do actually write things down. This is usually in my craft stroke office cubby, and this was from Poundland, the weekly planner. But very often, along with this, actually stays on my breakfast bar nearer to Christmas, especially Christmas, leading up to Christmas week, because it does get busy and you have so much going on. So, as I said, there's quite a few pieces. As I said, you don't have to use them all. This just works for me. And I know there's a lot of components, but it does work for me and it all comes together. Now, besides that, I will recap everything. This is my gift list. Now, I'm sure I've shared this before, and some of these items I will go through in more detail through the coming weeks. This has got a little bit more in depth than what I used to, and I have done this, believe it or not, for 30 odd years. Ever since I got married, I've done this, especially when our boys came along, our extended family, I've always had a gift stash and I've had a gift list. This just helps with expense because there has been issues in the family. We've had redundancies, we've had liquidation, we've had illness, and we've had one wage coming in. I'm not going to dwell too much on this because I'm sure I covered a lot of this and got quite emotional actually in last year's planning video when I brought this up. So I'm not going to go on too much about redundancy, but hubby was made redundant about a week before Christmas. A fair few years ago, our kids were little, and luckily I was pretty well organised and I had everything, so it wasn't too much of a push, you know, until we worry about his job situation to the new year. Again, I think I covered all this in last year's video. Right, so I've done this for 30 plus years. Gift stash, gift list. This is actually what I use all year round for things, any occasion, birthdays, Christmas, Easter, general gifts, thank you gifts, you name it, I use this list. And I say it's got a little bit more in depth because I think, I'm not actually sure, I think it might have been Asda. I have seen these in Poundland and a number of places, and what I do like is the segments I have now. When I first started doing this, I just had a book, and I think I've actually got rid of a lot of them now, but I can definitely say I know what people have had in the last 5 to 8 years for Christmas. And this does last a long time. As I said, it can last 3 or 4 years, maybe longer, depending on how much you write into it. But I have actually segmented it off, and I have got Advent, because I did an Advent calendar for my best friend last year. So again, you can see that video from last year. Xmas, so that is gifts specifically for Christmas. I've got ideas. Now, I'm sure I've mentioned this before. If you're out and a family member says, oh, I'd like that or something, sometimes I have to press to say, do they really want it? But sometimes I write down ideas that I've heard a family member say, and then maybe later in a conversation or down the road, I will look through and think, oh, they mentioned a perfume or something. And because perfumes can be a very personal thing, you know, anything like that. Or someone has mentioned, oh, I enjoyed those chocolates you bought me last year. Did you really? I won't be offended if you didn't. It's nothing like receiving a gift or giving a gift and someone doesn't like it and then you buy the same thing constantly. I do sort of press again a little bit to find this information out, because I know what it's like receiving something that you constantly receive and you end up having to give it away or whatever because you can't use it, or you're allergic, or you just don't like the taste, whatever. So a little bit more thought into what you purchase for that person. So that's what I mean by ideas. The next one I have got is general gifts. That is for birthdays and every other occasion. And I do have a DVD one, because very often I pick Blu-ray and DVDs up in, say, Poundland, and I know the Blu-rays are £2 now, but sometimes I get those, you know, like Halloween themed ones and Christmas ones, because I like to do movie buckets, so that's another gift idea. So that's why I like to put DVDs or Blu-rays down there. So I've got a list. Now, I'm not going to show too much of this because it has got personal information in and names of people. And excuse me, I've got bad knee again. But what I do in here is when I do put the item down, I also put in how much it cost and where I got the item from, and if it's allocated to somebody particular. That is especially if you've brought something after that particular season. And I do have Christmas gifts that I have purchased after the season, like after last Christmas, especially stocking fillers and things like that that are not perishable. I have got a majority of that stuff already ready for this Christmas. So that is my gift list, and it just stops thinking, oh, I've got a birthday. I get my gift list out, I look at it and think, oh, I've got that person's gift, or that might do, and things like that. I know it might sound harsh. I do try and personalise the gift as much as I can to that person. I like to do a lot of like little spa gift baskets and things like that, movie buckets, you know, things like that, especially if it's for a family, because it does keep the costs down. That again is preparation for any occasion, it doesn't have to be for Christmas. So that's my gift list. This is the second year I'm using this. This is my Christmas planner. This is something I'm going to go into more detail actually at another date, because I want to show you pages that I have not actually written in. Again, it's got a lot of personal information. I did get this from Amazon. I think it was something like $10.99. But I know they've got different ones. This is a 5-year one, if I didn't mention. I did actually, for my friend, give her one actually as a gift following, I think it was it last Christmas or the Christmas before? I can't really remember. It was just after, it must have been 2 years ago, because when I bought mine. And as I said, I will actually go into this in more detail in another video, just so I can show you the sheets that haven't got anything written in. So recap, again, I'm sorry, I bet this video is going to go on for ages, but if you can take anything from this, I will be happy. So Christmas planner, that's my 5-year one, and go into that in more detail. Gift list, that is used all year round, and I keep that with my gift stash. My everyday planner, as I said, I check it at night, check it the next morning, make sure nothing gets missed. And then you've got the weekly planner that actually gets things scribbled on by family members, and I do have pads near my phones to take any messages down and make sure nothing gets missed. And of course there is the family calendar, and yes, that is what I normally have around at one time to help me keep organized. Now you can just use one pad or one book or whatever and just keep everything together, and that probably does work for you. This is what works for me, and as I said, I'm telling you this because I have been doing this for a number of years and it just seems to help. Right, another thing, and make sure you do recycle them after you're finished with them, or the Christmas season, is to go around your stores and get all your books. I've got Argos, I've got B&M, and I've got The Range and a few other things as well. Very good idea to, you know, I've actually circled things on these before, and it's nice to flick through them in case you've missed something. Again, usually using this and my phone is what I write down if I need to go out somewhere specific. So I'm not sort of zigzagging around the stores. I have done an awful lot of shop with me in different stores, and I've done that fairly early, as soon as the Christmas merchandise comes in the stores, just so it's out there so you know what's coming in the stores, and to stop, you know, when it's so busy. But I also tend to pick up, as I say, the leaflets. There is actually a couple of things I've got my eye on that I haven't actually filmed or seen in the stores, and I want to make an inquiry or go to another branch. Like we've just had another B&M open in town. We've now got 3. So you know, even go to a different branch of that store may get that product. But again, saving fuel, time, money. If you do a little bit of research, besides leaflets, internet, obviously, your phone, whatever. If it's something specifically, especially if it's something expensive or again something specific, I do research it and try and plan. If I've got to go to a couple of stores or it's different areas of town, I try and make it so I'm doing a circuit, so we're not, as I say, all I can say is zigzagging about and wasting precious time and fuel. So going back to fuel, yes, that's something else. Again, I might be getting sidetracked. We do make sure all cars are filled up a couple of days before Christmas with fuel. That's just so some people, again, I do apologise if you're one of those people, may leave it to the last minute and think, oh, I got fuel. Mainly, I will say this, we make sure we've got plenty of fuel and keep topping our fuel up, only because we do a lot of visiting. We do have a lot of senior family members, friends who either don't drive or don't drive anymore, so we have to fit that in. So that's why we like to keep topping our vehicles up as well. Going back to family, that's something else. Get your visits sorted out. Try and plan that into your planner and your month of December. We normally, and I say normally, have started our Christmas visiting already. We're still in November at the moment. We've had so much illness in our family and I have not been particularly well. Still recovering, and I do excuse my hair and everything. It is on my to-do list to go and get my hair cut. I'm hoping to get it done next week and get it all nice ready for Christmas. So yeah, family planning, you know, try and book those, I can't say appointments, visits in. We tend to have them on the calendar and in my planner, and because we have got quite a lot of family in Lincolnshire, that's hubby's side of the family, there's 3 or 4, sometimes more household, and again we try and work out the route to make it easy. Sometimes they tend to come together in one spot. Again, we try and put the feelers out to see what's happening, to try and save time and fuel and everything. And as I said, we have a number of households in Lincolnshire to visit, so, and I usually have hostess gifts and everything in the car when we visit. That's something else I will come to in another video. Visiting, as I said, that needs to be sort of programmed into whatever you're using, whichever system you're using. We do have to be careful of illness, and that's what's put a delay on everything. We have got a couple of family members, one who's recovered from cancer, another one who's been seriously ill last year with heart and everything. And obviously we have to be aware of that due to the fact that if you're ill or anything, you know, you have to be careful of not actually giving them anything, especially if their immune system's low. It's not very nice anyway, you know, having people visit it if you're not well or you're not well yourself. You don't want to carry any bugs. So that is just something that's in there. We're constantly trying to program in now for visits. We are running out of time. We are sort of getting a little bit pushed for the visits because of not being local. Also, we have got my husband's aunt and uncle coming from America. They are coming about the middle of December, and they're staying with another family member. So 2 days, that's a weekend, is totally taken up with a party along with family members and our American family. And also we are going to a children's service also that particular weekend. Again, that may come up later on. So again, that is visitors, and as I said, very often I do try and take gifts and cards along with me. I think it's a little bit more personal. Visit that person, give the gift, the card or whatever. Hostess gifts, not sure what's happening this year. We are getting a little bit tight on time. As I said, hubby is still recovering. My son's not too bad. I think I'm on recovery, hopefully, as long as nothing goes round again. I am still seeing my doctor every week, so I do apologise if things are getting slightly delayed. I have got so much I want to share, so many videos, and obviously that is just tweaking. Something else that's on my list, aside family and friends, is YouTube. I have that. And I have so much videos that are actually queued to be uploaded and shared. Right, illness. Let's just touch on illness, shall we? I'm sure everybody's the same. I don't know. But I do have a couple of boxes, still haven't shared them, of pain medication and general medication, besides first aid. Let's forget about first aid for a time, because we're concentrating on Christmas planning. And I do apologise if this is going on a long time, but it might be things that you haven't thought of. I always have things like soothers, ibuprofen, paracetamol, cough medicine, anything like that. There's nothing like suddenly, and I'm sure it's happened to you, just like that, someone is poorly, or you can't get out, or the store or the shop is closed. At least you have the basics on to start dosing up. I also have to be careful of medication because my youngest son, who still lives at home, and my hubby, they obviously both drive, they both operate machinery and everything, so you have to be careful of non-drowsy meds. So that is another thing. So I have stuff that they can take at night, non-drowsy stuff that they can actually take with their packed lunch and everything in their bags to work. Again, just a little bit of organisation, a little bit of thought going into that, especially as I tend to do this anyway, autumn time, September. Make sure you've got things like that regularly in your store, ready for any time, and it's just handy. The only thing we did have to rush out was to get some Calpol for our granddaughter, because there was none in her bag when she stayed with us a little time ago, and I have actually got some now in my store. It's something that did slip my mind. She had a bad cough and cold when she came, when she stayed with us, and I've now got Calpol for her as well. So yeah, so we've done the planning, we've done basic gifts and everything, and I'll go into that into more detail. Visiting food. Food is another one. As you might have seen my Iceland hauls or shopping, I buy pieces every week, non-perishable, especially got long dates on. I start this in September. This is because we do tend to do a lot of visiting, have visitors, and it just keeps the cost down, because I know leading up to the Christmas week it can be a hefty Christmas bill. So if I get all the non-perishable stuff out the way, I have got to concentrate on more of the fresh produce. So I get things like crisps, savoury things, biscuits, chocolates, anything like that. I have said this before, I do wrap certain items up, especially the nice biscuits and the chocolates and everything, so they don't get eaten. May not work for everybody, but once that product is wrapped, it will not be broken into. I should have made a declaration at the start of this video, and I'll try and remember to put a little bit at the start. That may be not a good idea for young children to be watching this, in case obviously I let things slip that shouldn't be said, but most of it is actually planning. Right, so food. Also that includes toilet rolls, cleaning products. Most people, including myself, do tend to store these things. Batteries. Please remember your batteries. A lot of products don't come with batteries included. I tend to check if I'm given something that needs batteries and it doesn't actually have the batteries included. I tape them to the box. If I can't actually put them in the product, the box itself, I tape them to the box. And I just think it's a nice little touch, you know, to give batteries with the gift, just in case that person hasn't got that type of battery. Something else I tend to keep on store, and yeah, I can get overboard and overthink things. This is mainly due to childhood. It doesn't very often happen now. Power cuts, loss of water, burst pipes, anything like that. You've got visitors come in, and it has happened to us, and the whole area hasn't got water. Christmas time, because I know I'm getting visitors, I tend to have bottled water in. Maybe stupid, but there's nothing like you get visitors, you've got no water, and you need to make a cup of tea. Might be something stupid, but it's just at the back of my mind. I think it comes from caravanning camping as well, you know, and I know a lot of you Americans have to have emergency packs. I'm not quite sure what you actually call them because of disasters and everything, and I've watched a number of videos like that before, and I do feel for you, but I do have things like that. As I said, have some bottled water. It might not happen, but water's going to be used even if you don't use it at that time. Another thing is we make sure our torches, we've got plenty of candles, especially battery operated candles. Power cuts, this has happened before as well. The grid tends to cope okay. This doesn't happen very often. Again, I would stipulate this, it's going overboard. Childhood, we're talking 50 years ago, a bit less, and we were forever having power cuts, you know, and without power, and I'm not talking about a matter of minutes, it could be hours. And I know you can't help if you're cooking or anything, but that's why it's nice to have a lot of snacky stuff in, stuff that you don't need to cook. One, is easier to give to your visitors, but also if anything should happen, you've got visitors coming, at least they can be fed if you've got emergency pieces in. We have actually had it once where we've lost power, not on Christmas Day, and in the middle of cooking dinner. So yes, and we have been out, I think it was last year, I think it happened about December. We had some bad frosts and everything, some really cold weather, and we had the whole area didn't have water. Then we had problems with our power, and I understand they have 3 power lines to the properties, so if one goes, then they can transfer your power onto one of the other grids. 2 go down, and they are actually in trouble with the 3rd one, because that necessarily, depending on how many households, I could be totally wrong, this is what I was told, I was told the basics, then that last line can be in trouble, because especially if someone's using all the power at the same time, it can go completely down, and every household in that area can be down. As I said, I know there's certain backups, but you get cold weather and everything can go. As I said, I'm just putting things out there. As much as I can plan, I do. I am a planner, and hubby is a wing it, and we tend to not clash, but we tend to negotiate certain things, and I do tend to go overboard. Talking about overboard, a strange story. We were going to Lincolnshire. They were threatening more snow. We'd had snow for 2 weeks, and they were really saying about you know, staying indoors and everything, and we were going to cancel our trip to Lincolnshire, but we needed to go and see husband's family and the grandparents. And they looked at me shocked. They came down because we were leaving early. And even thinking about it, I had the hiking boots. There was 4 members, me, hubby and our 2 boys who were quite young at the time. We had hiking boots, I had water, I had snacks, I had sleeping bags, I had blankets, you know, I had like water, I had everything. And they laughed, and I said, and I had my medication. I planned for 2 days. We were only going for the day, we'll come back on the same day. I thought if we're stranded on the road, which had been happening, and if we were stranded in Lincolnshire, at least we got sleeping bags and everything. And we did get back, but we did spend 6 hours on the road because the motorway was blocked and came to a standstill. And it got to the stage that we had to decide about switching the engine off, because although we got plenty of fuel, you know, running an engine when you're at standstill, not a good idea, but then getting cold. And at least with, I think most vehicles, I'm not very vehicle minded, you could take the back down without actually getting out of the car. So out come the pillows, the sleeping bags, we had food, and we were singing Christmas carols, and we were having a party in the car. So I get emotional. It was a funny time. We just made the best of it as we can. And eventually we did actually get off the motorway and we took the side roads. And as I said, something that should have taken a fraction of the time took about 6 or 7 hours to get home. But it wasn't a total disaster. So just a little bit of planning, as I said, you never know, and it's just one of those things to think about. Although I do tend to keep and make sure the torches, we do have a torch my husband's side of the bed, and we will have one downstairs just in case it's dark and we do lose the power. As I said, I'm going back years. It doesn't tend to happen with the grid very often. Fingers crossed, I might have jinxed it, but anyway. Luckily we have got a gas cooker. Don't usually lose the gas. We do have electric fire. We do have heaters that can be plugged in. So, you know, it depends. And I have once, I said, not long after we got married, we had a really bad power cut and we lost the electric. And we didn't have this fire then, but our heating wouldn't work and everything, so we did have a gas bottled heater, and that was a godsend. I haven't actually unearthed it for a good many years, so we do tend to have gas bottles because we use them for our caravan and we also use them for the main gas barbecue at home. So I think that's enough, and you're probably bored about that situation, but you can probably think a little bit of thought of situations can help in the long run. Right, food wise, I do keep the Tesco's vouchers, you know, the coupons, and all the change in our money box through the year. And then we go and purchase we do have a frozen turkey. We do get the largest one, the extra large one, as big as we can get, so it does 3 or 4 meals, and that has been a godsend because we've had people turn up or, you know we've got a big turkey and something's happened and they haven't got the food. So yes, we do tend to. And following that, also going on the food situation is meal planning, because we have turkey. I love turkey. It doesn't bother me. I do not get sick of turkey. If we go out for a Christmas meal, I have turkey. I love the turkey. So we do have turkey on Christmas Day. Usually Boxing Day we will have turkey, possibly gammon with jacket potatoes, and then the third day we may have a turkey curry or something like that. So I'm just saying, and in between that, gotta have baguettes with turkey stuffing and cranberry sauce. So I think that, and I do have my meal plans down as well. That helps with the shopping and making sure I've got everything in. Last minute is the produce, the fresh produce. I do have emergency like frozen veg and everything in the freezer, but I do also like to get my fresh veg. Also at Christmas time I do get a sack of potatoes because we tend to get through so many with visitors and ourselves as well, because everybody is, dare I say, at home at some stage. So and people tend to eat more as well due to the fact they're home. So think I've near enough covered food. You know, make sure you've got your shopping list, work out your meal planning. So I do meal planning. That's nothing real different because I do that anyway every week. Just keeps, say, the cost down and less wastage. That's something else. Make sure you keep an eye on any leftovers through Christmas. And I tend to get a lot of the you know, the plastic containers, the set of 4 to 10 with the lids that I'm not worried about. So if I've got leftovers or a doggy bag, you know, for visitors, I can use the little plastic containers and I can say, no, it's all right, I don't want them back. You know, that's something else. I also like, again, cling film, tin foil, and also sandwich bags, all that sort of thing. And I tend to have those stocked up anyway. Right, cleaning products, yeah, needn't go there. I think I've dwelled enough on that. And also toiletries, I do stockpile my toiletries, so that is not a problem. I do bring all the Christmas pieces out. Decorations and Christmas, that starts on the 1st of December, especially it being a Sunday weekend. I do have help. We do have all our decorations in the loft. I do not like ladders, so I do need family members to bring everything back. And I know that's been delayed, and I know a lot of YouTubers have already got their Christmas decorations. Yes, friend, I'm talking to you. Saying wait until the 1st December, she's beat me. But that's just me. May do some filming, I don't know, depending on who's present. We may have some visitors. Hubby is rolling his eyes, not now, but when I mentioned it, because he just thinks it's going to be such a fiasco, because we have got a 7-foot tree. As you've seen all of my videos, I have not got a very big home. I love my home. I'm a homebody and I like anything to do with family and home. But yeah, the 7-foot tree, I try and get some help. I have done it a few times on my own and it's took me a day to put the tree up. If I've got help, I can probably do it in, I think we've got it down to half a day to maybe 3 or 4 hours. It does take an awful lot just to put the main tree up. And you'll see in my video and any footage I show you on our tree, I prepare certain things the previous Christmas. After Christmas, I have a budget, and that is to cover wrapping paper, cards, tags, anything like that, boxes, packaging, anything that's non-perishable, stocking fillers, gifts. And sometimes the Christmas gifts haven't got Christmas wrapping on, so you can use those throughout the year. I do keep a small budget, as I said, so I can use it. And any Christmas decorations, although I do have to be very careful now because my boxes are all full. I did go for a stage where I was thinning it down. Not sure I can thin it down anymore. I will see what is used this year. I have been off work now a fair few years when I was made redundant, so I do spend quite a time in the home. And I will be jiggling things around. As I said, I have not started. I've got a few days yet. My main thing now, going on to the next thing, is I'm packing up anything I don't want out over Christmas. boxing ornaments are anything, so I can have a clear slate. That is what I'm progressing on, and that will probably be shown on Friday's video, which will be Black Friday as well. I'm not sure if we're popping out. A couple of members want to pop out because they said there was something particular, but they're not saying what it is, so I'm not sure where that's going. So I am clearing, dare I say, clearing the decks, so I can clean each room, get rid of whatever, because I don't know about you, especially the mantle. Once I've organised my mantle and got my garland on, it's not very easy to clean. So I like to clean everything and just wipe everything down, get everything that I don't want out, put away, so that when the decorations come out, I'm not fuffing about with other stuff. Yes, stuff. So that's just going on to another little preparation. Gifts I've sort of covered. As I said, do make sure you shop around, research the items and whatever, and what deals are on. Not sure if it's still on. I did pop into the Works, and I was semi-tempted, but I didn't buy anything. And they got an offer on where they've got lots of games, and they're £7 each. Some of them do a maybe a takeoff of other games, but they are £7 each. They were 2 for £10, but at present, and I'm sure this may be up to, I don't know if it may actually only be up to today, or there was a conversation with another woman, or it's Sunday, you might have to look into this. They're doing 3 for £12, and they had like crafty gifts, games, jigsaws, book sets, a number of different things. And as I said, they had like, so I was very tempted about aromatherapy set, you know, and all sorts of things, gardening, cars, you know, little box sets that got books and maybe gardening pieces and everything. So do, you know, if it's still on, do check them out. I'm trying to get this up straight away, so that you can see everything, and hopefully you've enjoyed all my shopping videos. I've still got the range to do. I think I've only done little bits and pieces in there. I want to go in when I haven't actually specifically got to go in to get anything. Might be tempted, but again, I'm waiting till I've got my Christmas decorations out and up, and then I'll go to the range. So hopefully I may have covered everything. There may be pieces. As I said, I do budget financially for Christmas as well. I can tell hubby how much Christmas costs for them X amount of years, and it's gone down and down and down. We don't tend to buy many gifts for adults, it's just the children, or I will do, as I say, a movie bucket for a family. It works out a lot cheaper than buying individual gifts, and something that a whole family can enjoy. I will touch on gifts and stocking fillers and all that in my next videos. I am waiting to get things down, as I say, out in my loft, and I'm sure there's other things I want to discuss, but I did not have anything written down. I'm sorry if I've waffled on. I am sorry if it's gone on too long, but I just wanted to cover as much as I could that helps me, and hopefully you may get some pointers. You know, it's not too late to get organised now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.